need to fear because Nafi's here. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Let's get started. So today I'm gonna do a little story time, but before I do that, I want to tell you guys that this week is one of those weeks where I'm gonna have a special video coming out on the weekend. I think it will be on Sunday because I'm filming it on Saturday. So it's a very special video because it's gonna be super fun. It's an idea that I actually got from Rashawn. So stay tuned. Turn on that post notification bell or whatever it's called, that little bell thing next to the subscribe, or follow me on Snapchat. And then when I put up the, because I usually let you guys know when a video is up. So if you follow me on Snapchat, you'll know when the video is out. All right, so today's story time. Let's get the timeline right so you guys know what I'm talking about. It's about yet another cousin who did me wrong. It's another cousin, so it's not the same cousin. Actually, let's give her a name so we don't get confused. Let's call her Rashida. So let's go back in time. 2014. I, a young, naive girl, came to Canada to join my mother, who had been here for a few months, and my brother, who was here for an internship. And then Rashida told my mom that she was coming here. She was in another African country, and she said that she was coming here because she got her PR and she's gonna move here and she needed a place to stay for a bit. So my mom was like, oh yes, you can stay with us, because not only is she like family, but also my mom, when she went to university, she was in another country. She was in that country that Rashida is from, and well, not is from, but like lived. And technically she was born there. You know what? Let me just say, so Rashida, she's my cousin, but she's from Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, because that's where her mom had her. So my mother went to Côte d'Ivoire for her studies, like university. So when she went there, she stayed with them. So she was like, of course you're gonna come stay with me here, because it makes sense, right? So she came and she stayed with us and everything was like okay. And then my mom was told by her company that she had to go back because the oil, the economy here was going down, and they couldn't keep the offices here, so they sent her back to the branch that was back in my country. So she went back and left me here. And since my cousin was living with us already, my mom was like, we're gonna find you all an apartment that y'all can live in together, and then she would give me half of like the rent so I can like give it to her, so I'm like paying for my spot. So my brother was still with us. He moved with us we found this new apartment that was like way cheaper, because when my mom was here, we lived downtown and it was like very expensive, downtown Calgary, and it was very expensive. So we found a smaller apartment that was like more affordable, and it was kind of in like a shady place a little bit, but it was all good because I wasn't gonna live by myself, right? So fast forward, my mom leaves and it's just me, her, and my brother in the house, and she would like yell at me. I mean, I was stupid and I did some things that I deserve to be yelled at for. Like, I wouldn't clean up after myself as well, and yeah, so some of those things that I understand, I completely deserve it. And now that I look back at it, it actually helped me a lot. After I left and I lived in a new place, I learned to like look after myself, and that came from her yelling at me. So I understand that, but then also it wasn't only that, I just felt like she never truly liked me. Anyway, so fast forward, my brother leaves because his internship is over and he has to go back to France, and then it's just her and I in the house. And y'all don't even understand, like, some days I would wake up and she wouldn't be in the house, and then she would be gone for like 2 weeks and she wouldn't like tell me where she went. Like, I'll just wake up and there'd just be me in the house. And mind you, I was like, how old was I, 15, 16? And I don't even know, yeah, I think so. And it was just me in the house by myself, and I would be in the house by myself for days, and I was scared because it was like a weird neighborhood. And I just felt like she never liked me. So one summer, the summer after grade 10, I went off to my aunt's house. You know, the one from the other story, the one that whose daughter kicked me out. So I was at her house for like a couple of weeks, I think, towards the end of summer, so in like August. I get a text from Rashida, and she's like, I need you to come back and pack your things because I don't want to live with you anymore. And I was like, I don't know where to go. She's like, well, I'm traveling, so I need you to come and get your things, and I don't want, like, you need to figure out where you're gonna go. And that was literally weeks, like a week at most before school started. And I was like, oh my god. So I came home and I started packing my things, and I'm calling my brother again and crying. I think that's literally what I do when I'm in like the slightest bit of trouble. I just call my brother and start crying, and then he's like, okay, we'll figure something out. I literally don't know what I would do without my brother. Anyway, so I call my brother and I'm crying, and he's like, okay, just relax, pack your things, and I'll figure something out. So when he was here on the internship, he made a friend where he worked, and that friend, his mom lives in Calgary too, and she lives with her daughter, and it's just her daughter and the daughter's fiance, and they lived in this house. And so my brother asked the friend, yo, can my little sister come and stay with your mom for a bit, because you know she doesn't have anywhere to go. And the brother's like, let me just ask my mom. And he asked his mom. Mom was like, yeah, it's cool. And then my brother was like, okay, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna pack all your things, and you're gonna call a U-Haul, and you're gonna move your things, and you're gonna go stay there while we figure something else out. When I was living with my cousin, Rashida, when I was living with her, that was like grade 10, my grades started going down like really bad after my mom left, because I was depressed for a long time, because I was really sad that my mom had kind of left me here and went back, and I came here to stay with her, right? So I was very hurt. And then living with my cousin, it was just such a toxic environment, because I was always in fear of doing something wrong and getting on her nerves, and her yelling at me, that I was never fully comfortable. And that just, like, you don't understand. If you don't have a stable home, that will mess you up in so many ways. And I didn't understand that until that happened to me, and then some other stuff happened to me. But while I was living with her, even if I stayed at the library to study a bit late and I would come home, she would scream at me, and she would scream at the way I dressed and everything. I was like, my own mother didn't treat me like this. My own mother never really minded what I wore. So I never understood, like, I didn't understand why she was coming at me sideways and calling me names for dressing a certain way. And I just felt like I was getting bullied by this grown woman that I was living with, and that just messed me up so much, that my second semester in grade 10, I did really poorly, and I had to like retake some of those classes later in like grade 11 and grade 12, because the grades were so poor. And I used to go to counseling at school, and I would sit and talk, but it didn't really help. And so what I realized was, at the end of the day, her throwing me out ended up being more of a blessing to me, because thanks to that, I got to move in with that other lady who helped me so much, and that got me back on track, and that helped me so much. I stayed with her for about a semester, and I haven't told, well, most of the people around me, well, some of the people around me know about this story, but not a lot know, because I've had it rough while I've been here. But listen, that's part of my story, right? Those things helped me grow, and now I am so thankful about where I am. And even when my mom came, she was like looking at me, and she was like, I am so proud of you, you're doing so good, and you're like, you look happy where you are right now. And that means a lot to me, because I used to be so sad in those days. I would call her, well, I didn't want to bother her as much, but I would call my brother crying a lot, and I would text like my sister crying a lot. But yeah, I mean, I don't wish any bad thing on her except that she ages like yogurt. But listen, it seems like life is taking care of that. So that was so shady. Okay, so oh wow. Okay. Yeah, so I wanted to say thank you guys for watching the video. Please leave a like, a comment, I guess, if you want to say something. You don't have to say anything for this video because I feel like, what are you really gonna say, you know? So like, comment, subscribe, and share, I guess, if my story kind of touched you in some way. I don't know, you don't have to do that, but if you do feel like that would really help me out a lot. So if you do feel like it, share. If you don't, I understand, and I'll see you guys next time.